Your faith still lives, but deep down there's that doubt. Did God choose you too? Just the way you are? There's a space where God still speaks to you, even when everyone told you he went silent. This prayer will show you that the battle you're facing doesn't belong to you, but to him. I know there are moments when exhaustion feels bigger than your strength, when life's weight makes you question if it's still worth continuing. The Lord will fight for you, and you shall hold your peace. These ancient words still echo today, whispering truths your heart needs to hear. It's as if God is right there, so close, reminding you that you don't need to shout to be heard or fight alone to be defended. Even when the world seems to have turned against who you are, there's a God who knows every fiber of your being and chose to stand by your side, not as judge, but as protector. How many times have you felt you needed to prove your worth, justify your existence, or even apologize for being who you are? God isn't waiting for a corrected version of you. He's present in the person you are today, right this moment, with your doubts, fears, and all the beauty you carry. Like the shepherd who leaves the 99 sheep to find the one, he spares no effort to reach your heart, even when you feel lost in the crowd. Your struggle isn't lonely because there's a love that transcends any human judgment, a presence that never tires of being there. I desire from the bottom of my heart that you feel today that your battles have an invisible defender, someone who sees beyond what eyes can see. He knows the silent wars you fight within yourself, the nights you wonder if you still fit in his plan, if you're still worthy of his love. But the truth is, you never left God's radar. Every tear, every question, every moment of pain has been seen and embraced by a heart that beats with love for you. There's no struggle you face where God isn't present, no battle where he isn't the first to position himself in your defense. The protection surrounding you doesn't depend on your perfection, but on his faithfulness. Even when you can't feel it, even when faith wavers and the heart doubts, there's an invisible shield sustaining you, a force that acts regardless of what you do or don't do. It's as if God is saying, "Rest, my son. Rest, my daughter. This battle is mine, and I never lose a war when it comes to protecting those I love. And you, just the way you are, with all your colors and truths, are deeply loved by him." When the world around you seems like a hurricane, and your mind can't find silence, there's a voice that cuts through the noise. "Peace I leave with you. My peace I give to you. Not as the world gives do I give to you." These words carry a different weight, a promise that goes beyond what any person can offer. It's a peace that doesn't depend on circumstances aligning perfectly, or on you having all the answers about who you are or where you fit. It's the peace of someone who knows they're being sustained by hands greater than any storm. Maybe you grew up believing you needed to try harder, pray more, be more acceptable to deserve the tranquility you seek so much. But God isn't asking you to transform into someone else to find rest. He's offering peace exactly to who you are now, with your doubts, your discoveries, your fears, and your certainties. Like a mother who rocks her child during the storm, he wants you to rest while he takes care of everything outside your control. It's not about having enough faith, but about allowing the faith you have to be enough for this moment. My cry today is that you find courage to let go of what you can't carry, to stop trying to control what's beyond your hands. There's something deeply liberating in recognizing that you don't need all the answers about your future, about how people will react, about whether you're making the right decisions. God isn't waiting for you to decode all life's mysteries before embracing you with his peace. He's inviting you to rest in the certainty that, whatever comes, you won't be alone to face it. May you feel, even today, that there's a safe place where your heart can finally breathe. A space where you don't need to explain who you are, justify your choices, or ask permission to exist. It's as if God is saying, "Stop fighting so hard. Stop worrying so much. I know exactly who you are, and my love for you won't change." This confidence he offers isn't based on your performance, but on his unchanging nature of love. And that makes all the difference. There are battles that happen in places eyes can't reach. Silent wars fought within your being. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this age. These words reveal that the greatest fights don't always have a visible face or name. They're the whispers saying you're not loved, the thoughts insisting you're a mistake, the voices trying to convince you that God regrets creating you this way. But there's a God who sees beyond what you see, and fights against everything trying to steal your inner peace. How many times have you felt like you were facing invisible enemies? The doubt that grows in the middle of the night, the fear of not being enough, the feeling that something's wrong with who you are in the deepest part of your being. These aren't just random thoughts, but targeted attacks on your identity as God's son, as God's daughter. It's as if forces are trying to extinguish the light He lit in you, making you forget you were created with purpose and love. But God isn't just watching this fight. He's actively combating every lie, every accusation, every attempt to make you give up on being who you really are. And if I could tell you something right now, it would be that you don't need to win these battles alone. You don't even need to fully understand what you're fighting against. God knows every strategy used against you, every vulnerable point they try to attack, every wound they want to reopen. He positions Himself as a shield between you and everything trying to destroy you from within, ensuring that no weapon formed against you shall prosper. It's like having an invisible guardian who never sleeps, never tires, never leaves you unprotected, even when you don't feel His presence. Your task isn't to be strong enough to defeat all the enemies you can't see, but to trust that someone is fighting for you while you rest. When accusing thoughts come, when doubts scream louder, when it seems like you're losing the battle, remember, God is waging war on your behalf, ensuring every attack is repelled, every lie is exposed, every attempt to make you give up is transformed into reason for you to rise even stronger. There's a strange beauty in recognizing you weren't created to be strong alone, that your limitations aren't flaws, but invitations to sacred dependence. My grace is sufficient for you, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. These words transform our understanding of what it means to be strong. It's not about never needing help, never showing vulnerability, never admitting you're tired of carrying everything alone. It's about discovering there's a greater power that manifests exactly when you accept you need help, that you don't have all the answers, that you can't do it alone. Maybe you learned you needed to be strong to be accepted, that showing weakness was a sign of lack of faith or character. But God sees your vulnerabilities not as failures, but as connection points, places where His power can flow without obstacles. It's as if He's saying, you don't need to pretend you're okay when you're not. You don't need to carry alone the weight of being perfect. I want to be your strength when you have no more. This dependence isn't humiliation, but liberation. It's allowing someone greater than you to carry what you cannot. May you discover today that your fragilities don't disqualify you from God's love, but connect you even more deeply to Him. When you feel you have no more strength to face the judgments, when emotional exhaustion seems to have won, when doubt whispers you're not strong enough, that's exactly where divine power finds space to act. It's as if God has been waiting for you to stop trying to be self-sufficient, to be able to show what He's capable of doing through you. Your strength doesn't come from never needing help, but from knowing where to find it. May you feel, even today, that there's a power working in you that doesn't depend on your ability to have everything figured out. When you accept you need help, when you recognize you don't have all the answers, when you admit you're tired of fighting alone, that's when something greater takes control. God transforms your exhaustion into renewed energy, your fears into unexpected courage, your doubts into faith that surprises even yourself, showing that true strength was always about partnership, not independence. There's a divine invitation echoing in your heart. Drop what isn't yours to hold. Let go of what's too heavy for your hands. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. These words aren't just an invitation, but a promise of real relief. It's not about pretending the weight doesn't exist, but about recognizing you weren't created to carry everything alone. There are burdens that belong to God, situations only He can resolve, people only He can reach, and you can finally stop trying to control what's beyond your reach. How many times have you tried to carry the weight of others' expectations? The pressure to be accepted, anxiety about the future, the fear of not being loved for who you really are? It's like trying to hold the ocean with your hands, fighting against forces greater than you without realizing you can simply stop fighting. God isn't asking you to solve all problems, convince all people, have control over all situations. He's offering His hands to receive what's too heavy for you, promising to take care of everything while you rest. May you find courage to open your hands and let fall what you can no longer hold. It's not giving up, it's wisdom. It's recognizing there's someone more capable, stronger, wiser to deal with what consumes you. Like a child who finally allows the father to carry the heavy backpack. You can give God your worries about being accepted, your fears about the future, your anxiety about being on the right path. He doesn't just receive this weight, but transforms your relief into peace, your surrender into confidence. May you feel, even today, the relief of someone who no longer needs to carry the world on their shoulders. When you surrender what you can't resolve, when you stop trying to control what's out of your reach, when you trust that God can care better than you, something inside you calms, breathes, relaxes. It's as if He's saying, finally you understood you don't need to be strong alone, that you don't need all the answers, that you can trust me with what worries you. And in this surrender, you find a rest you didn't know was possible. There's a silent power in stopping, in allowing the soul to find quietness before the Creator, in recognizing you don't always need to have words. Be still, and know that I am God. These words carry wisdom that goes against everything the world teaches about strength and control. It's not about having all the answers, but about trusting the one who has them. It's not about making noise to be heard, but about creating space to hear the voice that matters. It's discovering there's greater strength in surrender than in resistance, greater courage in silence than in shouting. Maybe you learned you needed to fight for everything, that resting was a sign of weakness, that stopping meant giving up. But God is inviting you to a different kind of strength, the strength of someone who trusts enough to stop trying to control everything. It's as if He's saying, you don't need to prove anything to me. You don't need to solve everything alone. You don't need to fear what I'll do if you simply trust. This quietness isn't passivity, but an act of faith. It's choosing to believe God is working even when you don't see, even when everything seems still. May you find the value of silence, the beauty of waiting, the strength of surrender. In moments when everything inside you screams to do something, to resolve, to control, may you find courage to simply be in God's presence and let Him act. It's like allowing a specialist doctor to care for a wound you can't reach. You stop trying to heal yourself and trust more skilled hands. This quietness creates space for divine power to manifest in ways you never imagined. And if I could tell you something right now, it would be that your quietness before God isn't wasted time, but time invested in your inner peace. When you stop chasing all the answers, when you rest in the certainty that He's in control, when you choose to trust instead of worry, something inside you aligns with divine rhythm. It's as if God is saying, finally, you understood you don't need to carry the world, that you can trust me while you rest. And in this quietness, you find a strength you didn't know existed. There's protection available to you that goes beyond what eyes can see. Armor forged in divine love to keep you safe amid life's storms. Put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. These words aren't about a distant war, but about the daily struggle you face to remain firm in who you are. Each piece of this armor has a specific purpose: truth that frees you from lies, righteousness that protects your heart, peace that guides your steps, faith that extinguishes doubts, salvation that protects your mind, and the word that is your defense against every accusation. How many times have you felt unprotected before attacks on your identity? Vulnerable before voices saying you're not loved by God? Indefenseless against lies whispering you're a mistake? This armor isn't just a beautiful metaphor, but a spiritual reality. It's as if God is offering invisible but real protection, a shield that works even when you don't feel His presence. When you choose to believe the truth about who you are in God's eyes, when you clothe yourself with righteousness that comes from Him, when you walk in the peace He offers, you're literally protecting yourself against everything trying to destroy you. May you wake each morning knowing you're not unprotected, that you're not vulnerable, that you're not at the mercy of any force wanting to attack you. This armor isn't something you need to deserve or earn. It's a gift God offers simply because you're precious to Him. It's like having an invisible guardian who never sleeps, never tires, never leaves you unprotected. When doubts come, when fears scream, when accusations try to make you give up, you have protection that works, a defense that doesn't fail. May you feel, even today, that there's a greater force protecting you, invisible but real armor keeping you safe. You don't need to live in panic, constantly worried about the next attacks, always on the defensive. You can walk with confidence, knowing you're protected by a power that was never defeated, that will never fail to defend you. It's as if God is saying, you can live in peace because I take care of your protection. You can rest because I watch over you. You can trust because my armor never fails. And in this security, you find freedom to be who you really are. Not a single tear you've shed has gone unnoticed. There's no silent battle you've fought that God hasn't witnessed. You keep track of all my sorrows. May you feel, even today, that there's a God who cares deeply about every detail of your life. When you feel forgotten by the world, when it seems no one understands your struggles, when loneliness seems to be your only company, know there's a heart that beats with love for you, eyes that cry with you, hands that work to comfort you. It's as if God is saying, I see you, I understand you, I care about you, and your story doesn't end in pain, but in the victory I'm writing through you. And in this certainty, you find strength to continue. There's a direct channel between your heart and God's heart, a sacred space where you can be completely transparent about your fears, your needs, your deepest doubts. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. These words open a door to a type of conversation that goes beyond formal requests. It's where you can say, God, I need courage to face another day being who I am. I need strength not to give up when everything seems difficult. I need peace to calm the thoughts that won't let me sleep. He doesn't just listen, but responds in ways that often surprise. How many times have you hesitated to seek God, wondering if He really wants to hear about your struggles with identity, about your fears of rejection, about your need to be accepted exactly as you are? Prayer isn't a space where you need to pretend everything's okay or use beautiful words. It's where you can be brutally honest about what you're feeling. It's like talking to someone who already knows your whole story, but wants to hear you tell it in your own words, who wants to be present while you vent, who wants to offer exactly what you need to move forward. May you rediscover prayer as a safe place, where there's no judgment, where there's no need for spiritual performance. When you ask for courage, God doesn't just give. He transforms your fear into strength, your insecurity into confidence, your doubt into faith. When you ask for strength, He doesn't just strengthen. He sustains you when you can't anymore, lifts you when you fall, encourages you when you want to give up. When you ask for peace, He doesn't just calm. He replaces anxiety with tranquility, chaos with order, confusion with clarity. And if I could tell you something right now, it would be that your prayer doesn't need to be perfect to be powerful. God understands your broken words, your unexplained sighs, your silences loaded with meaning. He knows what you need before you even ask, but wants you to ask because this conversation, this venting, this intimate connection is what feeds your soul. It's as if he's saying, "Tell me about your fears, your dreams, your doubts. I want to hear everything and respond with exactly what you need." And in this prayer, you find not just answers, but presence. The battle you're facing isn't yours to win, but his to conquer. And he's never lost a war when it comes to protecting those he loves. The Lord will fight for you, and you shall hold your peace. These words echo through the centuries with a promise that remains true today. No matter how great the challenge seems, how impossible the situation, how lonely the journey, you have a defender who goes before you, opening the way, facing what threatens you, ensuring you don't just survive, but thrive. It's like having an invisible guardian who never sleeps, never tires, never gives up fighting for you. Maybe you learned you had to fight for everything alone, that no one would really be there when things got tough, that in the end you could only count on yourself. But God is rewriting this narrative. He's saying you can rest in the certainty that someone is fighting for you, someone who knows the end of the story before it even begins. It's as if he's saying, you don't need to carry this fight alone. You don't need to fear what's coming. You don't need to worry if you'll make it. I'm already taking care of everything. I'm already ensuring your victory. May you wake each morning knowing you're surrounded by protection that doesn't fail, sustained by love that doesn't change, guarded by power that knows no defeat. Even when you don't feel this presence, even when it seems you're facing everything alone, even when faith wavers and doubts scream, there's a spiritual reality working in your favor. It's like having an invisible army marching beside you, ensuring every step of yours is protected, every challenge is overcome, every victory is conquered. May you feel, even today, that you can walk with confidence because you have a God who goes before you preparing the way. You can face challenges with courage because you have a defender who's never been defeated. You can rest in the certainty that, whatever comes, you won't be alone to face it. It's as if God is saying, rise with courage, walk with confidence, rest with peace. I'm taking care of everything. I'm ensuring your victory. I'm writing a beautiful story through your life. And in this confidence, you find strength to be who you really are, without fear, without reservations, completely free. Amen.